All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Yes, as you can see, okay, they're getting ready to roll out this vaccine, okay, and it says here U.S. COVID-19 vaccinations may begin as soon as December 11th, reach enough people for return to normalcy in May, all right, from the program chief, okay. And that means they're gonna have to work very fast, man. Okay, because that's what December. Really, if you start with January, February, March, April, May, that's 5 months. Okay. Now it says Americans may receive Pfizer's new COVID-19 vaccine, from December 11, and the country's immunization rate could climb high enough to allow for a return to normalcy around May. The initiative's chief scientific advisor has said. Now, depending on how quote unquote cooperative people are, that may vary. It may be sooner, it may be later. Okay. It says the FDA Vaccine Advisory Committee is scheduled to meet on December 10th and may grant Pfizer's request for emergency use authorization that day. Dr. Monsef's Salawi said on Sunday during an interview with CNN's Jake Tapper. The Trump administration stands ready to ship the vaccine to immunization sites in all 50 states within 24 hours, he said, so the first doses would be administered to recipients on December 11th or December 12th. Okay, and that is less than a month away. Okay, so hey, enjoy your Thanksgiving. All right, while you because that's what this world is into. All right, even now, instead of people considering, all right, these things that are happening, what are they gonna do? They're gonna try and find a way to try and lull themselves back to sleep, with the vain things of this world, trying to hold on to a piece of Babylon that can comfort them. Okay, it says Slawi, all right, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it says helps lead Operation Warp Speed, the White House initiative that was set up in May with the ambitious goal of developing, producing, and delivering a COVID-19 vaccine that could start being shipped out by January 2021. President Donald Trump has called on the U.S. military to lead the rollout effort. Now, based on how this thing goes, okay, there's a possibility that Trump could try to take advantage of that, declare a public health emergency, all right, and say, well, I can't leave just yet, until this situation is dealt with, you know. But I'm just throwing that out there. It says the administration plans to deliver 20 million doses in December and around 30 million each month thereafter at no charge to recipients. So it's going to be in like waves, you know. The first people to get it, the healthcare workers and the elderly and so on and so forth. Then the next wave is your turn. Next wave is your turn. Okay. It says FDA approval for a second vaccine, such as the one developed by Moderna, could speed up the process of providing more doses. But as we keep reading, it gets more interesting because what is one thing that they're gonna harp on is eliminating the fear or the hesitancy for taking the vaccine. If they want to be able to have quote unquote things return to normal in May, that means that as they'll tell you, you need that herd immunity, which as it says here, around 70% of Americans will need to be immunized. Okay, but the polls, all right, are not saying that. The polls is way less than 70% that are willing to take the vaccine. So now what happens when you have maybe a 30% or 40% that's standing in the way of normalcy and non-normalcy, or they're standing in the way of herd immunity or not herd immunity. What do you think they're gonna do with that 45%, that 40%? You think they're gonna start giving them an option? At first, it may be optional, but when it's down to just that 40% that needs to take the vaccine for this quote unquote thing to work, eventually they're just gonna start. They're gonna start. If they're not gonna directly mandate it, they'll indirectly mandate it. Instead of you have to take the vaccine, it'll be if you don't take the vaccine, this is what happens. If you don't take the vaccine, you can't do this. If you don't, and they're going to indirectly mandate it by shutting off all your other avenues. But the only way, all right, making it seem like the only way for you is to take that scene. All right. Um, okay, let's jump down. It says with both vaccines boasting efficacy rates of about 95%, Slowy said around 70% of Americans will need to be immunized for true herd immunity to take place. At that level, life would be able to return to normal. And of course, people want to return to normal, right? With this lockdown, all right, they can make it so irritating and so stressful that the first thing people, because May is what, 5 months or so, all right, 5 to 6 months away. So depending on how harsh and severe the lockdowns and the stuff are, hey, they could have it to where by that time, the vaccine comes out, people are gonna say, look, I'm tired of living like this, man. I'm tired of being under lockdown. Now, don't be surprised. I believe they're doing it in the UK where they're giving people immunity passes. All right, if you test negative, don't be surprised if they do something similar. An immunity pass if you take the vaccine and you have proof of it. You can now go to the store without, all this extra harassment and so on and so forth. You know, you can go here, you can do this. Hey, they might start opening up certain activities, but only for the vaccinated. Movie theaters, sports centers, you want to go in there, you want to buy a ticket for it, they need proof of your records. Maybe a QR code that they can scan to make sure that they can check your records and see if you've taken the vaccine or not. It says that is likely to happen somewhere in the month of May or something like that, based on our plans. All right, that's the key part. Based on our plans. So they've planned this whole thing out, man. All right. Now, from now to May, like I said, is a long time. Is enough time for a lot of things to happen. It says, I really hope and look forward to seeing that the level of negative perception of the vaccine decreases and people's acceptance increases. That's going to be critical. That means the main thing they're going to focus on is what? Decreasing the negative perception of the vaccines and increasing the acceptance of it. So how do you decrease it? Well, you stop those that are speaking negative of it. And then how do you increase the acceptance? You add more people who are going to speak positive of it. Okay? If you're trying to deal with the Israelite community, you start taking down pages and you start silencing brothers like groups like GMS and us, okay, and other groups that teach the same thing that are against the vaccine. And then you start bigging up and promoting other groups that teach that, it's okay to take the vaccine, you know. So when they say they're going to look for spiritual leaders, they're going to find, all right, those that suit different groups, all right. If it's dealing with a group of Christians or Christianity, then they're going to find certain pastors, certain, so on and so forth. All right. But their goal is to what? Get rid of those that are talking against it and increase those that are talking for it. Like you said, that's going to be critical. It says a Gallup poll. So don't be surprised if they bring that famine into word, because with the anti-vaccine, speech, whatever they're gonna deem it, they can tie a lot of things into that. Okay. Now we blatantly tell we're not gonna turn around and say, okay, you can take the vaccine now just so they won't take down our videos. Nah, we're gonna tell you as it is. But soon it's gonna be impossible for us to still stay on the internet and still stay up here telling you what the truth is. Okay? It's either we stop telling the truth and we stay on here, or we tell the truth and we're not here, and we're not gonna stop telling the truth. Okay? So don't be surprised when that famine of the word comes, when we're literally not allowed or not able to prophesy. And ultimately, it's going to be the doing of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, because if it gets to the point where no matter what avenue you try, it's just straight up impossible, it's the Lord who's doing that, according to prophecy, Amos 8 and 11. All right, it says a Gallup poll conducted in late October found that 58% of Americans said they would take an FDA-approved COVID-19 vaccine if it were available at no cost, up from 50% in September, which they are saying that, I think for Pfizer, Slacky, I believe they were saying it was going to be no cost. All right, it says, but then, but then there are political considerations. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said earlier this month that it is bad news the vaccine is being rolled out by Trump administration rather than uh, rather than when Democrat Joe Biden takes office in January. We can't let this vaccination plan go forward the way the Trump administration is designing it because Biden can't undo it 2 months later. Trump responded by saying vaccine shipments, which is interesting. You know, Biden is not going to be able to undo the design the Trump administration is setting up for this vaccination. Says Trump responded by saying vaccine shipments to New York won't begin until Cuomo gives his authorization because we can't be delivering to a state that won't be giving it to its people immediately. All right, they're not gonna want to hesitate or play games. They're gonna want to make sure they get this into people as quick as possible because they're running out of time. Okay, it says the vaccine will first go to those who are most vulnerable to COVID-19, such as medical workers, the elderly, and people with underlying medical conditions. But primarily, even within these uh, categories, you have a broader category, which is what nation of people of medical workers and elderly and people with underlying medical conditions, and that's you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites. Okay, you are their target, and like I said, man, if for the longest everything they did was for your detriment, after putting you in slavery and the Jim Crow era and the so-called civil rights movement and all these different things, all right, the redlining, all the negative things they did to us, but all of a sudden there's something that's life threatening, and their life is on the line as well, but they just somehow love us so much they want to put us first. That doesn't even make sense. All right, that doesn't even make sense. All right, but the reason they're doing all this in haste, as we're going to get the famous Revelation 12 and 12, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And that's why they call it Operation Warp Speed, because they need to make sure they speed this up, man. They don't have much time. That's why they're moving so quickly, you know. So hey, we're seeing dates. All right, we're seeing the setup. Okay, with the whole army and everything. So it's only a matter of time, man. But we're rapidly approaching that time of Jacob's trouble, pursuant to Jeremiah 30:7, Daniel 12:1, Matthew 24. All right, and it's gonna be brutal, man. Along with the winter coming. Hey, man, pray that the Most High has mercy on you, man. Pray that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua has mercy on you and your loved ones. All right. So with that, I hope you were edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua Ba'Hashem Rakak Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.